Clear to everybody? सुनाई दे रहा है ठीक ठाक? Good. So we'll be discussing today two topics. One will be the relationship. What is this going on? So one is the relationship between sociology and political science. And second, we'll be discussing about the relationship between sociology and psychology. Okay? I'll be relating many contemporary issues in my discussion today. So be attentive. First, I'm discussing about political science and sociology. Political science as a discipline is tracing its origin to 5th century BC. And sociology as a discipline originated only in 1838. Auguste Comte coined that concept, sociology, in 1838. So look at a discipline that is developing in pre-Christian era, another discipline developing today as a reaction to European modernity only during 19th century. So you will be finding out here that age of both the disciplines are different. Okay? So political science will be great-great-grandfather of sociology in terms of age. And we are a small child in front of what? Political science. But children are no less. Okay. So in today's context, you find out sociology is no less in comparison to what? Political science. Let us go step by step. If I look at the work of the early political scientists, like Plato, Aristotle, subsequently you find out Machiavelli. Machiavelli you have studied? I discussed with you Machiavelli. Then Hobbes, Locke, Rousseau, all of them are political philosophers. Early political philosophy was addressing to 3 different issues. Okay? 3 issues political science was addressing to. One was political scientists who are developing political theories. Okay? If you look into the writings of Plato, you find out he develops political theory of monarchy, oligarchy, democracy. ये सारे लिखने का जरूरत नहीं तुम्हें. So he developed political theory of state. Aristotle also gave a cyclic theory to power. How monarchy comes, perverted form of monarchy is tyranny. Aristocracy comes, its perverted form is primarily oligarchy. Polity comes, rule of all. And the perversion of polity is democracy. Okay? So they develop theory of state. Whether it is Plato or Aristotle, John Locke, Hobbes ने क्या बताया? How state is evolving from state of nature to monarchical society, ultimately state. The first issue that all political philosophers developed was to develop theory of state and theory of government. Okay? This is the first issue they all addressed to. Second issue they addressed to is the study of political institutions. Political science was concerned with the study of political institutions. Institution means government they are studying, bureaucracy they are studying, constitution they are studying, political parties they are studying. So political science was greatly concerned with the study of political institutions. Judiciary, executive, constitution, समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? Constitutional reforms, they are also focusing attention on political institutions. At that time, you find out political institutions in the form of pressure groups, okay? Interest groups were not present. So therefore, they were looking into these kind of political institutions. And they were studying political problems. Political problems. Political problems means how corruption is evolving as a major political problem. How most of the politicians are going for war and expansion, that is a problem. How monarchs are not following the rules of law or the ethics, that is a problem. Okay? So absence of political ethics, political aggression, political expansion, political corruption, conflict for power. So these issues were greatly addressed by the political scientists. So easily you find out, it's all being discussed with you. Voltaire tells how religion is giving ideological support to monarchical state. So therefore he writes, if there is no God, next word, dhyan mein rakho, dominant class will be creating one for the gratification of their self-interest. The political problem is being primarily cooked as a recipe in the kitchen of religion. So religion is responsible for the rise of political problems. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? So therefore all kinds of political problems are deliberated, discussed by the political philosophers. So therefore you look into entire Machiavelli that deals with political problems. Man is selfish. Man is coward. Man loves heroics. Therefore, prince, you come. Take care of us, take care of our country. Let political unity be primarily established in society. That Machiavelli is talking about. Therefore, all possible kind of political problem. Monarchy I discussed in French Revolution. How monarchs are becoming indulgent. Louis XV, Louis XVI I'm talking about. How they are not primarily interested in governance. So that is being discussed by the political philosophers at large. Okay? The political philosophers were addressing to three different issues. One is developing political theories. Second is studying political institutions. And third, they are looking into different kinds of political problems and the impact of this political problem. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? The impact of this political problem on the life course of the people. अरे प्लाटो कहां पैदा हुआ था? जर्मनी में. प्रफुल्ल ग्रीक फिलोसोफर था. तो he originated, he was the first family founder of political science. तो political science कहां origin हुआ? हाँ, चलो. So this is how classical political science primarily developed. And all political scientists from pre-Christian era till 18th century, till the time of Rousseau, all political philosophers believed, very interesting thing, that state and society are synonymous. Society is not separated from state. क्यों? Because the destiny of the society is defined by the discourse of the state. The destiny of the society will be defined by the discourse of the state. So what state does, that ultimately defines what is the nature of society. Any change taking place in society is initiated by state. Okay? Law and order maintained in the society is made by state. So state makes society. That was the whole idea. Therefore, if you look into the writings of the Enlightenment scholars, all of them were thinking about a new kind of state. Understanding or not? Therefore, Rousseau talks about state will be driven by general will. State means society for him. हेगल का राइटिंग देखोगे, स्टेट इज ए मार्च ऑफ गॉड ऑन दिस अर्थ. That means a beautiful society will come. Therefore, all of them were thinking state and society are synonymous. So if a state is becoming progressive, state is inclusive, state is catering to the needs of the people, it will be an inclusive society, happy society. Okay. So that was the position of classical philosophy and philosophy of the political scientist during Enlightenment period. Okay. One thing political science forgot is that political activities, political roles, political behavior are taking place in a social context. Okay? So therefore, always keep this in mind. Democracy in India is bound to be different from democracy in America. Therefore, democracy as a political structure is present in both the countries. But the way Indian society is directing democracy is different from the way democracy is getting direction from society of America. Look at this thing. In Indian society, there is caste, there is religion, there is tribalism. Therefore, to win election in India, you need to primarily glorify religion. Because people are religious. To get primarily, support from the people, you have to talk about religious issues. Therefore, the way religion is influencing to political behavior in India, that is not the case in case of America. In America, people need employment. In America, people need primarily what? Economic stability. In America, women need their rights to be protected. In America, people want quality environment. So these will be the issues in America. Immigrant will be an issue. Ethnicity will be an issue. Development will be an issue. Understand not? Stability of the market will be an issue. These will be the issues. Therefore, political behavior of the people varies from one society to another society. And political scientists didn't pay attention to that. With the arrival of sociology, political scientists realized that we can, in a better way, study politics and power if we locate this politics and power in a social context. If we study politics and power from behavioral perspective, how people's behavior is influencing to power and politics. Therefore, with the arrival of sociology, horizon of political science expanded. Its approach, its method, its content, everything primarily changed. And sociology gave a kind of insight to politics, political science. That's it. Power and politics are not only present within the political structure. Very much power and politics takes place in the family. Family is also primarily a political battlefield, where in search of power, father and mother are fighting with each other. And children are becoming the support base to them. Issues are debated like issues are discussed in parliament. Whether my daughter will be going to America or not, issue. Then there is a debate. Then there is primarily division of votes. So majority prevails. Understanding or not? So therefore, you will be finding out that politics is present within the village, politics is present. Within family, politics is present. Between the caste, politics is present. Between two different religious groups, politics is present. Politics over water, Kaveri mera maa hai, Kaveri mera mausi hai. Politics over land. State tells land I need for developmental activity. Tribes tell no, we need land for our what sustenance? Politics, movement. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? Therefore, wherever you go, you find out the signature of power and politics is there. Therefore, politics is not something just related to constitution, just related to power structure, just related to political parties. Politics is present everywhere. Therefore, study politics in context. Study politics in time. Study politics in different levels. Study political behavior of the people. Therefore, this change in the approach of studying politics that you see in political science today is nothing but the contribution of sociology. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? So when we were not born, political science was talking about how a better society should be made. Therefore, lot many political philosophers we discussed in sociology and analyzed how they contributed for the origin of sociology. But once we are born, once we grew, we primarily showed them the light of the day, telling them how their understanding of power and politics is myopic. Therefore, they should be following the wisdom of sociology to have an inclusive, exhaustive explanation to power and politics. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? Yes or no? So therefore, political science, its approach, its method, its analysis are largely influenced by sociological insight. Therefore, at present context, I'll say, politics and sociology are not two primarily extreme disciplines. They're coming close to each other. There is a harmonic relationship between these two disciplines. And the meeting point between these two disciplines is political sociology. है समझ में? So the meeting point between these two disciplines is political sociology. आगे थोड़ा सा बढ़ते हैं. You know, these two disciplines first came close to each other through the powerful writings of Karl Marx. Therefore, I would be saying Karl Marx was the meeting point between political science and sociology. Karl Marx develops a theory of society in which he tells that conditions present in social life are greatly influenced by the economic conditions present in society. इसको डिटेल्स में पढ़ाऊंगा तुमको बाद में. Conditions present in society are greatly influenced by economic conditions present in society. ठीक है? When I speak about economic condition, I mean here capitalism, feudalism, slavery, tribal societies. So they have different kinds of economic condition. Simplify करके बोलता हूं. In slave society, you find out land belongs to masters. Trade is controlled by the masters. Slaves are the personal property of the masters. Therefore, all productive resources, starting from land to mines to forest to slaves to weapons to house to trade, everything belongs to whom? Masters. Therefore, slaves have nothing to primarily sustain upon. To survive and exist, slaves have nothing in their control. Land is not their property, mines are not their property, plants are not their property, everything belongs to master. And masters have also a weapon in hand. If by chance slaves are acquiring land, they will be killing the slaves. Therefore, what option is left out for the slaves? To work for the masters, accept to their commands. Ethics forwarded by the masters will be binding on the slaves. Slaves will do that what masters want them to do. Slaves will be following the rules made by the masters. Therefore, masters made rule. क्या rule बनाए? Slaves cannot hold private property. Slaves must have to obey to the command of the masters, ethical. failing which master can punish the slaves the way he wants. Therefore, who made rules? Masters. What gave them right to make rules? What gave them right to make the rules? They control over the factors of production. So controlling over everything that people want to primarily sustain and survive, they declared themselves as dominant, made rules, concerned organized army, and enforce these rules on the slaves. If slaves are not accepting these rules, they will be using primarily what? Army against them. So therefore, power comes from where? If you have economic power, if you control over economic power, then obviously you get access to political power. Because everybody to sustain and survive must have to eat. And they will be eating something if productive resources are there within their control. So first, be careful. First, you take productive resources from out of the hand of the people. Unse छीन लो productive resources. And to sustain and survive, they will do that what you want them to do. आजकल वही चल रहा है. Give them food, they will be accepting to their command. इसलिए rice is available to the people 5 rupees a kg. Give them food, Manrega, they will be accepting to your command. Therefore, people are poor, people are starving, they are unemployed. If you give them work, they will be accepting to your domination. कितना बड़ा चीज मार्क्स किया. Therefore, to exercise your political control over the others, you have to snatch productive resources away from them. And that is being done by masters in ancient society, feudal lords in medieval society, and capitalist in case of modern society. Modern society में बताओ, industry, tools, technology, market, capital, everything is controlled by whom? Capitalist. If all the industrialists stop their primary industries for a day, people will die. Even agriculture is also primarily controlled by industry. Corporate farming का बात हो रहा है. Fishing industry is also controlled by primarily multinational companies. Traditional fishermen are collecting marine resources, giving it to multinational companies. They are making huge profit. That's a major concern in case of Kerala. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? And these big capitalists, what they are doing? बोलो, what these big capitalists are doing? And these big capitalists, what they are doing? They ask the government, we want more money. And government introduce a policy. Remonetization. Remonetization, demonetization, remonetization. आजकल चल रहा है. Give airport to private companies. Land available besides the railway track, give it to primarily multinational companies. They will start their shops. They will be opening up their office, make best use of it, and part of the money they'll be giving to government in terms of tax. Therefore, economic policies of the government is catering to the needs of the great capitalist or not? Because without the tax paid by them, no government can sustain, no government can operate. Therefore, government is primarily speaking the voice of the capitalist. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? Yes or no? Therefore, 1% of the people are controlling over more than 90% of the wealth. समझ में आ रहा है कुछ? इसको कोई बोलता है क्रॉनिक कैपिटलिज्म. मैं बोलता हूं दिस इज द यूनिवर्सल प्रॉब्लम विद कैपिटलिज्म. हमारा तो एक सिचुएशन ठीक ठाक है, बट अमेरिका देखो. An industrialist who made lot of wealth decided one day, I will become the president of the country. And he became the president of the country. Despite huge public hues and cries. His name is Donald Trump. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? So what in our country state is doing in favor of the whom? Capitalist. That capitalists don't have patience to wait for. They say it is our power, we should capture it. Power should be captured by the capitalist. Therefore, Marx tells, you cannot understand politics in isolation to economics. And politics and economics are present in society. Therefore, in slave society, this is how political mobilization takes place. In feudal society, this is how people capture power. First, you control wealth, then you control power, and after you control power, you determine the destiny of society. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? Therefore, my dear political scientist, don't study politics in isolation to economics and society. Because economics defines politics, and politics and economics define society. They all are interrelated to each other. You cannot understand one in isolation to another. So therefore, Marx is primarily the meeting point between economics, political science, and sociology. समझ में आया? Yes or no? So therefore, he is the meeting point between political science, sociology, economics. Since I'm not discussing, I'm not bringing that to our discussion now. Okay. After Marx, Prafulji, how social control is different from political power. तुम जरा बोलो मेरे को, मेरा ज्ञान जरा बढ़ जाएगा. स्कूल में तुमको कंट्रोल कौन कर रहा था? बोलो. When you are in the school, teacher was controlling you. ठीक है? When you join bureaucracy, who will be controlling you? Your higher officers. When you are preparing, when you are playing cricket, who controls you? Umpire. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? So therefore, social control means what? The mechanisms which are controlling to our behavior regularly. Religion is a mechanism of social control. Family is a mechanism of social control. Law is a mechanism of social control. There are different agencies which are controlling our behavior, out of which state is one, but not the only one. हाँ, मैं जो पढ़ा रहा हूं इसके ऊपर ध्यान दो. दिमाग कहां घुमा रहे हो? चलो. So next I am bringing into the discussion, which is a strong nexus between political science and sociology, is Max Weber. Okay. And Max Weber is considered as the father of political science. Father of political sociology. Max Weber is considered as the father of political sociology. His major contributions are primarily is related to what? Power and politics. Weber is defining power that is an eye-opener to political science. He is defining power in a way that is an eye-opener to political scientists. क्या बोलता है? Power refers to a situation when a person or a group of persons exercise their control over the others, even against their resistance. Repeating once again. Power refers to the capabilities of a person to exercise control over the others, even against their resistance. इसका मीनिंग समझ रहे हो? Power refers to a situation where one is exercising his control over the others, even though others are resisting to it. It's a broad definition of power. Okay? When you are a small child, you are eating something. Mother क्या बोल रही थी? Don't do that. If you are doing it, I'll break your head. One is exercising control over the others. And how you are resisting? A small child, how child is resisting? Throwing things here and there, crying on the top of his voice or her voice, resisting. Despite your resistance, she primarily persisted over you. And ultimately, you listened to her command. So therefore, inside family, in case of a child and mother, power relationship is present. Mother is exercising control over the child, despite the fact child is resisting to it. Therefrom develop a tendency of listening to parents, respecting to parents, understand not, and primarily following their guidelines. Power. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? और देखो, when you are a small child and you are playing teacher game at your home, and you are insisting, since it is my home, I should be playing the role of a teacher. Others were resisting. ना तुमने काल टीचर बना था, आज मैं बनूंगी. No. If you become teacher, will not play. And subsequently prevailed. There is also power. Getting my point or not? So power is the capacity of a person to exercise control over others, even though others are resisting to it. Therefore, Weber told political scientists, power is present everywhere. Between mother and child, there is power relation present. Between teacher and student, there is power relationship present. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? Between landowner and tenant, power relationship is present. Power is present everywhere. Don't study power. Don't study primarily what? Authority. Only in the context of political structure. When you go to a temple, priest बोलता है, illiterate priest, quasi-literate priest बोलता है, फूल इधर डालो, throw fool here, you are putting fool there. Bow down your head, you are bowing down your head. And giving you the water to drink, understand not? That is so unhygienic. Water is stored for 3 days, lot of flowers and leaves are put into that, stinking smell is coming, but still you are drinking that water, bowing down your head. Because inside the temple, he has power and you are accepting to his power. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? So therefore power is present everywhere. Family you look into, समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? Anywhere, traffic police you see. Illiterate person or quasi-literate person who has just passed his matriculation examination, putting on white clothes and telling a professor and IAS officer, stop, we all are stopping. Go, we all are going. Power. Therefore, power is present in all spheres. And there are 2 kinds of power. What are they? Chinmay will tell me now. Chinmay, suppose 2 months before, we are meeting at Maharashtra, somewhere in Maharashtra. Okay? You are going in front of me, carrying some books. I am taking a book from out of your hand. What will be the reaction? What will do? Chinmay will go to police station. An unknown person has snatched away a book from me. This is unacceptable. So police should be primarily filing a case against him. Okay. Now we have met. I am your teacher. You are my student. I saw you going somewhere. I'll pick up a book from you. क्या पढ़ रहे हो? You will be happy. Because my teacher is taking care of my studies, inquiring about what I am studying. He's going to clarify my doubt. You'll go and tell 20 people. पता है? I was going today. Somapatra sir met me, took the book, and primarily inquiring about my studies. Such a nice person he is. देखो क्या है? What makes difference? First power was very good, Yuvraj. First was illegitimate power. Second is illegitimate power. A teacher has got legitimate authority over the students. To whom I teach, to them I can control. But 2 months before, you are not my student. My authority over you was illegitimate. Therefore, you dragged me to police station. Today, you are dancing in joy, feeling so elated, so happy. Because my authority over you is what? Legitimate. So, therefore, there are two kinds of authority. One is legitimate, other is what? Illegitimate. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? Therefore, we should study power, we should study authority, we should study which authority? Legitimate authority or illegitimate authority? Illegitimate authority is temporal in character. Legitimate authority is permanent. Therefore, we can study both the kinds of authority. But we should be giving more importance on what? Legitimate authority. Understanding not? That legitimate authority also present in numerous forms. Father's authority over children, teacher's authority over students, government's authority over citizens, numerous forms. Therefore, we should be dividing authority into some major types. Traditional authority, charismatic authority, legal rational authority. Authority defined by law. Authority defined by traditional customs, values and norms. And authority because of the personality of a person. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? My dear political science, don't write great many theories of state, theories of government, theories of monarchy, all nonsensical काम है. Rather, if you are interested to study politics, power, first thing you remember, power is present in every sphere of social life. What is power? Capacity of a person to exercise control over the others, even though others are resisting to it. Where there is power, there is resistance. If my power you accept, that is illegitimate. If my power you primarily dissent, you reject, that is illegitimate. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? And in very many situations you'll be finding out illegitimate authority is converted into legitimate authority. कैसे? बोलो how illegitimate authority is converted into legitimate authority? First, people capture power by using force. Military dictatorship I'm talking about. And once they come to power, they're introducing public policies. Like. Creating, generating employment for the people. Giving protection to the people. Protecting their life and liberty. Then people are accepting these autocrats, military dictators, as their popular leader. Like Hitler. Understanding or not? So therefore, sociology and political science should be meeting each other to discuss this dimension to power. Who is dimension to power? Power is number one, present everywhere. Power can be two types. Which type? Legitimate power and illegitimate power. We can study how illegitimate power is becoming legitimate power. We can study three kinds of authority: traditional, charismatic, and legal rational. समझ में आ रहा है? So therefore, sociology and political science should be joining hand with each other to have a better understanding of power and politics present in every sphere of society. समझ में आया? Yes or no? Understanding or not? So therefore, political science, when sociology was not present, were thinking about the future of society. And after our arrival, we are holding the hands of political science and telling them, Bade bhaiya, this is a better way of understanding power than understanding political problems in isolation to society. Power in isolation to society. Political institutions in isolation to society. Study power, study political problems in societal context. You can make a better understanding about power. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? Therefore, Max Weber is an eye-opener to political science, and with the arrival of Max Weber, political science is changing its approach, changing its way of understanding power and politics. ठीक है, आया समझ में? हाँ, 3 types of legitimate power. आगे सुनो. With the advancement of sociology or growth of sociology, political science is borrowing inputs from sociology regularly. Therefore, in today's context, we'll be finding out the distinction between both the disciplines is becoming narrower. Okay? With the advancement of sociology, political science is borrowing immensely ideas from sociology. And the distinction between these two disciplines is becoming very, very narrow. ठीक है, 2-3 एग्जाम्पल देके आगे बढ़ूंगा. You know, political scientists were discussing about the difference between democracy and socialism. ठीक है, they were developing theories of democracy, theories of socialism, comparing democratic state with socialistic state, indicating that in democratic state, people elect their government. Therefore, government is answerable to the people. इसको लिखो मत सारे, सुनो. लास्ट को जो क्रक्स बताऊंगा वही लिखोगे. So, political science makes a distinction between democratic state and socialistic state. In a democratic state, political parties are contesting an election. People vote in favor of a political party. And the party that is getting majority will be constituting the government. Therefore, democracy is whose government? People's government. इसलिए democracy क्या है? Of the people, by the people, for the people. Political science बोलता है, हम नहीं बोलते हैं. हम बोलते हैं of the politician, of the caste, of the kinship, of the religion. हम और कुछ बोलते हैं. So they say this is what is democracy. And what is socialism? In socialism, single party is present. The senior leaders of the party, they will be constituting Politburo. Politburo will take decisions. Decisions are meant for collective well-being. करके लिखे, बहुत लिखे. हमने देखा. हमने मतलब कौन है? Sociology. Sociology saw that political scientists are making comparison between democracy and socialism, looking into their differences. ठीक है? One is autocracy, totalitarian state. Other is primarily what? Inclusive state. देखा. Nowhere communism has yet primarily arrived. All the states calling themselves as communist states are actually socialistic states. Communism is an utopian ideology. Communism stands for absolute equality. वो नहीं आया है. In all socialistic societies, party that is ruling over the people is communist party. But state is socialistic in character. मैं जब मार्क्स पढ़ाऊंगा, I'll be telling you difference between communism and socialism. Sociology indicated that the difference between communism is difference between socialism and democracy. It's similar to the difference between vanilla and strawberry. दोनों आइसक्रीम है, फ्लेवर इज डिफरेंट. ठीक है. सो द सोशियोलॉजी इज टेलिंग पॉलिटिकल साइंस, भाई साहब आपने तो तीर मार लिया. ये डेमोक्रेसी, ये सोशलिज्म क्वेश्चन पूछते हो, व्हाट आर द फंडामेंटल फीचर्स ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी? बच्चे कूद के लिखते हैं, डेमोक्रेसी इज प्राइमरी सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर, डेमोक्रेसी इज रन बाय कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, डेमोक्रेसी इज प्राइमरली गिविंग इंपोर्टेंस ऑन पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज, डेमोक्रेसी में सिविल सोसाइटी आता है. लिखते हैं सारे. एग्जाम में नंबर देता है, लो भाई 20 में से 18 ले लो, सारे पॉइंट लिखा है. हम बोलते हैं भाई क्या बोल रहे हो? व्हाट द हेल यू हैव बीन स्पीकिंग? You are putting on a colorful glass. इसलिए you see that democracy is so qualitatively different from what? Socialism. But actually, the difference between both the kinds of state are extremely minimal, what you have not understood so far. Then they're asking question, कैसे? How are they similar? We keep telling them. In the name of state, elites rule over the masses in case of socialism. Elites also rule over the masses in case of democracy. Who are these elites? In socialism, it is the military chiefs, professional politicians, intellectuals. Combinedly together, they have monopolized over Politburo. And they determine the destiny of the country. इधर भी वही हालत है. Power elites. They come from which background? 3 different backgrounds. Professional politicians, military heads, and topmost industrialists. Representative of industry, representative of primarily arms dealers, and representative of the primarily what? Political parties. Combined together, ये दोनों रिपब्लिकन पार्टी में है, डेमोक्रेटिक पार्टी में है. So whether America or Britain, wherever you go, you find out these 3 group of people, they are representatives, they rule over the masses. Therefore, elites rule over the masses. And the beauty is what you know? These elites are destined to rule over the masses. Therefore, history is the graveyard of aristocracy. In aristocratic society, aristocrats were ruling. In also democratic societies, these are ruling. Tell me, who are ruling India? India को कौन रूल करता है? बोलो, who is ruling India? Wait, who are ruling India? बोलो, अजीत दोवल करके एक आदमी है, नेशनल सिक्योरिटी क्या है, एनएसए का डायरेक्टर है. He will be primarily giving advice to Prime Minister. Understanding or not? So what is to be done in military affairs, security affairs? Then there is a think tank, इसका heads कौन साहब है. He will be giving economic advice. understand? मिश्रा जी एक बैठे हैं प्राइम मिनिस्टर कैबिनेट, अमित शाह को क्या पता है? तो सारे मिलके देश चलाते हैं. Amit Shah knows how to win elections, but to run the government, these people are playing primarily significant role. Industrialists will be there, intellectuals will be there, experts will be there, professional politicians will be there. इकट्ठा बैठ के they decide the destiny of the nation. प्राइम मिनिस्टर थोड़ी ना बोल देंगे भाई आज पाकिस्तान के ऊपर अटैक करेंगे कि नहीं करेंगे, तालिबान आ गया क्या करेंगे. प्राइम मिनिस्टर कैन नॉट से ऑन हिज ओन. So therefore, there are elites in BJP, there are elites in primarily Congress, there are elites in other parties. One group of elites will be replaced by another group of elites. But, kya but? Others should not be feeling alienated. तो इसलिए कभी कभी क्या करेंगे बोलो. At times what they will do? At times they will be picking up ex-army chief. That you come and join politics and give him a ministerial portfolio. Some cinema stars will be picked up out, election contest karo. So that nobody will be feeling deprived. And once they become elites, they'll be speaking in the language of elites. They'll be forgetting their paternity. They'll be constituting a small homogeneity community. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? Therefore, IAS officers quitting the job are becoming primarily ministers. नाम सुने हो? Telecommunication minister, IT minister, Vaishnav Sahab. Therefore, picking people from bureaucracy, picking up people from army, picking up people from the sports, picking up people from the entertainment world, they make them a part of political elites. and they reproduce themselves. And we consider it's a celebration of democracy. Therefore, what democracy is doing, that socialism is also doing. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? A handful of people are ruling over the masses and they stay in power till the time they're alive, in one form or the other. Therefore, democracy is an IWAS of the people, by the people, for the people. हम क्या बोलते हैं? Chaiwala has become prime minister. How many Chaiwalas have become prime minister? How many IAS officers have become minister? एक ही को बना के अनेक का बात करते हैं. If one is selected from out of you, you dance in joy. You dance in joy that somebody ordinary has become extraordinary. Understanding or not? Yes or no? So Stalin, समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? So Stalin was the son of a farmer, and when he assumed power, he said, socialism has arrived because a farmer's child could primarily become the head of the nation. But how many children of the farmer, they have become the head of the nation? Therefore, what is happening in the way leaders are elected in socialism, in the same way elections, in the same way you find out leaders are elected in case of what? Socialism. Understanding or not? So therefore, in both the societies, much of difference is not there. Visible differences are there, but invisible similarities are there. So therefore, elites rule in both the societies. Therefore, no society is a classless society. Political classes are present in democracy. Also, they are present in case of socialism. Got my point? So therefore, invisible truth present in political structure that sociology is primarily spelling out, giving a new guidelines to political science research. Therefore, elite theory is primarily bringing what? A change in the line of political thinking, political idealization, and political philosophy. Therefore, young sociology has given a new direction to the study of power and politics. ठीक है, हमने 3 लोगों को भेजा पॉलिटिकल साइंस को इन्फ्लुएंस करने के लिए. कौन कौन भेजा? पहले मार्क्स को भेजा. Then we send whom? Max Weber. Now we send primarily elite theorists. So they told primarily political science, there is an alternate way of studying power and politics. So focus your attention on that. Than going for conventional, traditional model. This is democracy, this is socialism, they are watertight compartments. Clear? Yes or no? So in today's context, political science is borrowing ideas from where? Sociology, to have an exhaustive explanation of power and politics. Understand not? Going away from their conventional approach. Okay? Around 1960s, some sociologists evolved, जिनको तुम बोलते हो क्रिटिकल थियोरिस्ट. नाम सुने हो? तुमको पढ़ाया था ओरिजिन ऑफ सोशियोलॉजी में. 20th century sociology gave more importance on power study than giving importance on the study of what? Industry. Because in 20th century, you'll be finding out, we fought 2 world wars. Russian Revolution has taken place in 1914. Nazism, fascism primarily came into prominence during this period. And socialistic bloc and democratic bloc were engaged in silent war against each other, that is known as Cold War. Therefore, 20th century sociology paid much attention to the study of power and politics than studying industry. Yeah. And a number of sociologists, they criticized to Nazism in case of Germany. Okay. Hitler ko they criticized Hitler. And Hitler was after the life of these people. इनको मारने के लिए हिटलर का आर्मी भाग गया, ठीक है। एंड दीज पीपल अल्टीमेटली लैंडेड अप इन अमेरिका। इनको बोलते हैं फ्रैंकफर्ट स्कूल, बिकॉज जर्मनी में जो फ्रैंकफर्ट है, दे स्टार्टेड देयर राइटिंग्स फ्रॉम देयर, एंड मोस्ट ऑफ देम सब्सिक्वेंटली लैंडेड अप इन अमेरिका एंड दे रोट थ्योरी. In sociology, we call them as critical school, neo-Marxist school or critical school. बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग बात करते हैं. They say that state is not controlling over the people directly, whether it is socialistic state or democratic state. State is not controlling over the people directly. Then how state exhibit control over the people? State कैसे control करता है? बोल. How is state exercising control over the people? Very interesting thing. Bureaucracy भी नहीं. आज तुम्हारा तीसरा आंख खोल देते हैं. सुनो, ये सारे गलत है, कुछ सही नहीं है, ये सारे गलत है. पुलिस, लॉ, कंट्रोल, ये सारे कुछ नहीं, सारे सेंटिमेंट, आइडिया, सारे बकवास है. सुनो, हाउ स्टेट एग्जिबिट कंट्रोल ओवर यू फ्रॉम द चाइल्डहुड टिल नाउ. व्हाट हैव यू स्टडीड? फ्रॉम योर चाइल्डहुड टिल नाउ व्हाट यू हैव स्टडीड. अरे आराम से सुनो, परेशान हो कि ज्यादा सीरियसली मत लेना. From childhood till now, what you have studied? In childhood, you read NCERT books. What is written in the first page of the NCERT book? We the people of India. Preamble. Therefore, from the time you started reading the book, it is injected into your mind. Democracy is the best form of government. We live in a secular state. We cherish the values of justice, liberty and equality. आज भी यही पढ़ रहे हो लक्ष्मीकांत किताब में यूपीएससी देने के लिए. Understanding it not? So carrying this knowledge when you join bureaucracy, carrying this knowledge, democracy is best form of government. So we are primarily a secular society. Justice is guaranteed to everybody by the constitution. So carrying this kind of knowledge, when you join the government, you will be questioning to government or appreciating government. Because government is democratically elected. Therefore, state never controls over the people by using police and army. State is controlling over the people by colonizing their mind. So ideology of the state becoming a part of the curriculum of the school. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? आज का डेट में चल रहा है काम. क्या काम चल रहा है? न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी. इसमें न्यू क्या है? In old education policy, the ideology of the government of the day was absent. Therefore, people are resenting, questioning. That was not good for a healthy state. Therefore, change the mind of the people by changing school curriculum. Nationalism will be taught. In the school, people will be knowing about local heroes, their contribution to nation building. So if you inject this kind of ideology into the mind of the people, state ideology will be shared by the people and people will not question, they will not rebel, and they will be accepting to your wisdom. If you are born in Russia, first book you will be given to read is the book that carries the picture of Marx and Lenin. Therefore, reading their book, seeing their picture time and again, wherever you go in this state, you find out their primarily what statues are there. लेनिन का स्ट्रीट है, डिफरेंट कम्युनिस्ट लीडर का नाम पे स्ट्रीट्स आर देयर. buildings are there, libraries are there. So wherever you go, you meet them. Therefore, you consider they are the makers of my nation. Without them, my existence could have been impossible. You start respecting to them. Therefore, your ideology, your thinking is matching with the thinking of the state. And it becomes easier for you, easier for them to rule over you. ठीक है? आगे, what you read in newspaper, what you see in media. अरे बोल दो, न्यूज़पेपर में क्या पढ़ते हो, मीडिया में क्या देखते हो? हाँ, क्योंकि सास की कभी वो थी. So in media also you find out projection of the state and state policies. In government reports also you primarily see the same thing. So therefore, since you are educated, since you are following media, therefore you get a chance to develop an ideology corresponding with the ideology of the state. When our ideology match with the ideology of the state, हम क्या करते हैं? अरे बोलो, when our ideology is matching with the ideology of the state tells us. अरे बोलो तो सही, state tells us what? Stand up India, start up India, we start a startup. When our ideology is matching with their ideology, they say we are having 700 vacancies in bureaucracy and we are standing in a queue to get into it. When their ideology is matching with our ideology, they open up universities, we become their teachers. And they impose terms and conditions on us, we accept it. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? So educated people go to the university, educated people go to the research center, educated people go to the hospitals which are run by the government, funded by the government. So our existence is sponsored by them. Therefore, we sing song in their glory, they sustain and continue. समझ में आ रहा है? This is the hidden truth everywhere, whether capitalism or socialism or Nazism or fascism, any ism you talk about, that is present. Therefore, the difference between Nazism, fascism, democracy, socialism, authoritarianism is minimal difference, is not a great difference. Therefore, state rules over the subject either by a kiss or by a kick. Accept our ideology like a nice child as a nice bureaucrat. अरे wrong right कौन बोल रहा है, बकवास कर रहे हो बैठ के, जो बोल रहा हूं सुनो. So either they primarily, they give us knowledge, accept this knowledge, be a scientist, be a technocrat, be a professor, accept to our command. Understanding or not? If you are not doing it, you are anti-national, you are terrorist, you are rebelling, go to jail. Understanding or not? So this is how state operates. Debate हम क्या कर रहे हैं? Debate हम ये कर रहे हैं, इसके ऊपर कर रहे हैं. डेमोक्रेसी, नाजिज्म, फासिज्म, पॉलिटिकल साइंस बोलता अलग अलग है, ये कोई अलग नहीं है. They all are primarily one and same, because the spirit of governance is to control over the citizens, and this is how state controls over its citizens, either by police or by army or by colonizing their mind. ये राइट रॉन्ग का बात नहीं हो रहा है. How sociology looks at primarily state in a different way from conventional explanation of political science. How conventional political science is explaining state from differential perspective, and sociology is giving a new insight to study power and politics. They are leftist, no doubt in that. Understanding or not? तो इसलिए उनको न्यू मार्क्सिस्ट हम बोलते हैं. But they give a new direction to study power and politics, and political science is accepting that today. मैं तुमको क्या बताऊं, how people change every 5 years. मैं जो बोल रहा हूं तुम इसको वर्ड को सुन रहे हो कि स्पिरिट को सुन रहे हो? मैंने क्या बोला फर्स्ट सेंटेंस में? The people who are present in Congress are the people present in NDA. So new primarily elites will be added on to them, but ultimately they will be controlling primarily what? Culture industry. Media ka through में they will be selling their ideology. Newspaper ka through में they will be selling their ideology. School ka through में they will be selling their ideology. Through family also they will be selling their ideology. will be accepting to that. So therefore, hidden agenda of the state, ये बताओ, what is welfare? इसीलिए बोलता हूं ये थोड़ा सा पॉलिटी में लिखोगे नंबर, हाँ फिल्म ऑल्सो वेरी गुड. तो व्हाट इज वेलफेयर? राइस 5 rupees a kg, or primarily different kinds of benefits given to the people. What is this? People become dependent on the state. We are doing job for the state, we are paid salary by the state, we are obliged to state. Those who cannot do any job, poorest of the poor, they survive because of the grace of the state. Because unless state gives them rice, free rice, they cannot have anything to eat. Therefore, both of us, we and they combinedly together, accept state. Ruler is X today, Y will come, but the approach is same. So it's not a question of 5 years, who is there in this chair. Anybody controlling power, anybody controlling state power will be controlling the minds of the people. So that less rebellion is there, less confrontation is there, less misunderstanding is there. People simply accept to your authority. समझ में नहीं कि नहीं, जनरलाइज स्टेटमेंट है, कोई स्पेसिफिक स्टेटमेंट नहीं है. 5 साल का बात आएगा इसमें. So it's a generalized understanding about the role of the state they give, and political science is primarily accepting to that and developing a critical approach to the study of power and politics that they were not doing earlier. Okay? Now I'll be discussing about one more thing. A group of sociologists are coming forward and they're writing, अरे गवर्नमेंट का अगेंस्ट तुम क्या लिख रहे हो? तुम किसके लिए लिख रहे हो? तुम कर क्या रहे हो? If something you are not supposed to write in the exam, that I'll not be discussing in the class. This is a theory which is being given by people. You are writing their theories. You are not writing your philosophy. Understanding or not? So you'll be writing critical theory considers this. This is how sociology is enlightening to political science. तुम आइडियोलॉजी थोड़ी ना बेच रहे हो. ये तुम्हारा जीएस वाला माइंडसेट पूरा चेंज करो. GS copy is being evaluated not by a specialist. Sociology paper will be corrected by a sociologist. He will be searching for these explanations. If your answer is not carrying this family analysis, you will not be getting marks. तो जो बता रहा हूं इसको सुनो, इसको लिखो, अपना विद्वानगिरी छोड़ दो, आगे बढ़ो. I'll be bringing primarily, another group of people. Yes, very true, Sakyam. Critical theory of sociology is enlightening to new age political science. They call this as new political science. New political science is largely influenced by sociology. Lot of thinkers are there. मैं जानबूझ के नाम नहीं दे रहा हूं. Adorno talks about authoritarian personality. Gramsci is there. Althusser is there. सारे पढ़ोगे, मार्क्स में पढ़ाऊंगा, अभी डिटेल्स नहीं दे रहा हूं. Now I'll be discussing about a sociological theory, that is known as pluralist approach. Pluralist approach. Pluralist theory tells, let's see, रॉबर्ट डाल करके एक आदमी है, लिखते हैं हु गवर्न्स. बोलो, हु गवर्न्स? शासन कौन करता है? हु गवर्न्स? बोलो विद्वान. इलिट्स पढ़ लिए, ओनर पढ़ लिए, मदर पढ़ लिए, गवर्नमेंट पढ़ लिए, स्टेट पढ़ लिए, और कुछ बाकी रह गया? सुनो, हु गवर्न्स. Pluralist theory advocates that actually bureaucracy doesn't govern, state doesn't govern, people govern themselves. ठीक है? अमेरिका में इसका ऑपोजिट है, पूरा क्रिटिकल थ्योरी का ऑपोजिट है. In America, you'll be finding out 5,000. Who governs is his book. 5,000 pressure groups are there. What is a pressure group? A group of people, those who are regularly putting pressure on the state, formulating public policies to their advantage. NGOs you can talk about, civil society you can talk about. Civil society is a broader concept, Hansil. Trade union is primarily a pressure group. Student union is a pressure group. Okay? So you find out, pressure groups, 5,000 pressure groups are there. And these pressure groups, yes, civil society ka part hai. These pressure groups are environmentalist group, anti-war group, women's right group. Okay. So they primarily focus on different issues. And interestingly, what happens when government is making environmental policy, if that is primarily, talking about green cover will be converted into marketplace, these people will be going for demonstration and protest. And they will not stop till the time government policy is changing or amending itself. Similarly, women right group. Any law coming against primarily antithetical to the interest of women, they will not make that legislation to primarily come through. They will convince politicians across the parties. When it is debated in the Congress, so people will be speaking against the policy, then appropriate amendments will be made in rules of law. Therefore, in American society, समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? Who actually rules? Congress rules, government rules, or people are primarily ruling? They speak about it. So who governs? Everybody governs. Therefore, business association looks into their interest. So there are different kinds of pressure groups present, putting pressure on the state when public policies are formulated. Therefore, all public policies are becoming people-friendly, non-discriminatory, progressive, and functional in character. Understanding or not? So therefore, more and more number of people are writing about their concerns in newspaper, participating in television debate, joining civil society movement, and putting pressure on the state. Therefore, state is not archaic, state is not monarchical, state is not authoritarian, the way neo-Marxists were talking about. Therefore, people's voice is also audible. State is answering to the concerns of the people. Public policies are including to voice of the people in democratic societies. Therefore, don't say democracy and socialism are meaning one and same. Both are equally exploitative in character. Understanding or not? So where there are leftists, there are also critics to leftist. Therefore, neo-Marxists give primarily a critical view about state and government, but they are giving primarily a positive view about state, how state is responsive, catering to the needs of the people. So this pluralist theory is also primarily endorsed by a large number of political scientists today. Those who are studying people's power. Civil society हुआ, pressure group हुआ, interest group हुआ, so they manifest people's power. And which mechanism they go for? How people exhibit their power? As members of interest group, members of pressure group, members of civil society. Civil society समझ में आ रहा है? India against corruption. Students join it, teachers join it, shopkeepers join it. So different from cross sections of the society, people are joining the movement for a common cause. Civil society movement. बताओ मेरे को अभी. So this family movement is largely exhibiting whose power? People's power. तो how people express and exhibit their power? लोग अपना पावर को कैसे दिखाते हैं? अरे सारे पता है तुमको. अभी कोई क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा था. यस, बाय प्रोटेस्ट, मूवमेंट, कलेक्टिव मोबिलाइजेशन, स्ट्राइक, जल समाधि, रास्ता रोको, चक्का जाम, ये सारे क्या है? पीपल्स पावर. Therefore, when state is exhibiting its power, people, yes, very good, Me Too movement, people are also exhibiting their power. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? So therefore, when we are doing political science, studying politics, we must have to take these factors into account. How people's power and state power are negotiating with each other, contesting with each other. ये सारे पढ़ना है. Understanding or not? Therefore, political science that was studying state and government is now refocusing on the study of people's power. Demonstration, protest, new social movement, these are becoming the themes of political science today. और दो चीज बताऊंगा तुमको, फिर लास्ट को इकट्ठा कर लूंगा. आज का डेट में अभी मी टू बताया, मेरा दिमाग में ये आ गया. दिव्या ना कौन है? ये बताओ, arrival of feminist approach, feminist theory, is changing the discourse of the study of power and politics. So feminism is giving a new direction to the study of power and politics. Feminism tells that when we speak about power, we are not actually speaking about the power of the state, power of the government, separation of power. When we speak about that, when we speak about power, we speak about power over body. Decision making power. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? So women don't have power over their body. Because in a patriarchal society, they are supposed to marry. And in countries like India, when a woman who is married refuses to have sex relationship with her husband, that will not be considered as primarily crime. Marital rape, जो concept है, this is not primarily applicable to India. Therefore, a woman doesn't have right over her primarily what? Body. She cannot primarily tell, I don't want to bear a child. Therefore, whether to bear a child or not, that is outside the purview of a woman. Understanding or not? And many things they speak about. They say, marrying with one man is called as marriage. Marrying many is known as prostitution. Therefore, marriage is a legitimate form of prostitution. Because marriage is taking women's right over her body. तो पावर का जब बात करते हो, don't talk about power of constitution, don't talk about power of bureaucracy, don't talk about power of state. Socialistic, democratic. When you speak of power, speak about the vulnerability and powerlessness of women. Understanding or not? Power over decision making. If you look into the position of a woman in the family, most important decisions are taken by men. Property, investment, all important decisions are taken by men. Entertaining guests, family shopping, arrangement for different kinds of functions are the ones where women decision matters. And most importantly, only women specific jobs are created in modern society. Men are mostly, not always, अभी तो थोड़ा चेंज हो रहा है, men are mostly pilot, women are air hostess. Men are hoteliers, women are receptionists. Yes. So where you find out service is present. Beauty is considered as important. There you find out women's job is there. So therefore, more we are becoming modern, more violence against women is being registered. Whether New York you are talking about, Paris you are talking about, or Delhi you are talking about. Women are not protected in the four walls of the house. They are further not protected in their office, and public space is open space where women are highly victimized. Robert Dahl is a pluralist theorist. Understanding or not? So therefore, you will be finding out today, feminist writing is giving a new dimension to the study of power. Study power from study power from gender perspective. Don't study power from institution perspective. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? So therefore, feminist writings are giving a new dimension to study their power. अंकित, तुमको बार बार बोल रहा हूं, फिर तुम रास्ता पे नहीं आ रहे हो. क्वेश्चन है सर, वुमेन सपोर्ट देयर ओन एक्सप्लॉयटेशन. तुम इधर बैठ के विद्वान, अपना विद्वान बनना चाहते हो कि पढ़ के पास करना चाहते हो? Don't ever make any kind of generalization. Women jump to marry, therefore their own exploitation they are responsible for. ये तो जो एक जज था बताया. I have large many liabilities and one such liability is my daughter's marriage. I need money for that. और एक judgment था. A rapist was told to marry primarily the victim. So when you are making a statement, be sensitive about what you are speaking. Don't just write whatever is coming to your mind. Women want to marry for the reason that culture cannot spare them to stay single. Reason सारे सबके लिए is applicable. When a woman is not getting married, a girl is not getting married, more than parents, it is a matter for the neighbors to feel concerned. Matter for relatives to be further concerned. अरे बेटी का शादी नहीं करवाओगे क्या? What she is doing ना IAS का तैयारी. IAS क्या होगा? शादी का बाद पढ़ लेगी. Same principle is not applicable to man. At your home, a boy will be there and girl will be there. Parents will be more worried about the primarily daughter's marriage than son's marriage. This itself talks about the patriarchal mindset we do have. Therefore, society need to be changed, and it cannot be changed unless we change our mind. People say women marry for their security. The first question comes here is that why women are insecure? They are insecure because we spend a lot of money on the education of primarily the boys. We never wait for women to get settled in life. Yes, for women is important because they should be mother. Therefore, let them marry early. Let them primarily not complete their education. Let them settle down for pink collar jobs. Then we'll be exhibiting our sympathy towards them. Husband is earning, wife is earning is less. नौकरी छोड़ दो, घर में बैठो. This is the cycle. Forget about that. Come down to the point. So, next I'm going to discuss with you about last theory, that is postmodern theory. Then I'll be summing up the whole thing. Postmodern theory is bringing revolution in the field of sociological thinking. Postmodern theory is offering a critique to theory of modernity. When modernity tells everything modern is good, postmodern theory tells modernity is primarily cause of human sufferings. It is because of modernity you find out, big cities have made appearance. Population explosion in a very big way. And because of that population explosion, wherever you go, you find out the heads of the humans only. And such kind of place is becoming primarily right spot for the spread of pandemic. Wherever there is modernity, there you find out big malls are coming up. Understanding or not? So big buildings are primarily coming up. And buildings are so huge in terms of their appearance. Small temple is primarily becoming invisible. Coffee house, old coffee house is invisible. So everything representing tradition is primarily missing out because of the aggressive advent of modernity. So postmodern theory tells that big dams you are looking into is a phase of modernity, creating havoc. See what is happening in Haridwar. Every day there is a landslide. Because madness of modernity has not kept primarily forest land intact, forest soil intact. Deforestation is regularly taking place. Construction activities are regular. Building dams. So therefore, soil is not stabilized. Understanding not? Cloud burst you are talking about. इसको सारे environmentalism करते हो. So more we go for modernity, more buildings, more cities, more primarily food centers, more primarily dancing plazas. So all these things are mushrooming. Nature is affected. Consumerism is spreading. Restlessness everywhere. Understand not? And we all are the victims of modernity. Therefore, no quality air to breathe. No quality life to live. Morning we are starting our life till end because we can earn more money. Therefore, restlessness is becoming the new way of life. Face-to-face relationship is replacing Facebook relationship is replacing to face-to-face relationship. And a Satyanas virtual meeting is dominating over a real meeting among the people. रियल मीटिंग में आई कुड हैव ये जो सारे क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हो मेरा सामने होते मैं कान पकड़ के तुमको सिखाता बट नाउ बिकॉज ऑफ दिस स्टूपिड मॉडर्निटी यू आर राइटिंग व्हाट यू वांट टू राइट understanding it not so I can give you information through this I cannot primarily build up your personality through this virtual media तुम कहां रहते हो मैं कहां रहता हूं ना तुम्हारा शकल मैं देखा हूं तुम मेरा शकल देख रहे हो I have least control over you. If teacher is losing control over the students, it is because of modernity. It is reduced into a market-based transaction. पैसा दिए हो, information दे रहा हूं और रट लोगे पास हो जाएगा. 2 साल पहले हिसाब किताब नहीं था. They were coming, I was sitting with them, बदमाशी कर रहे थे, कान पकड़ के थप्पड़ मारता था. They are writing answers and remembering me. So therefore, modernity is primarily, yes, very true. Modernity is primarily breaking emotional relationship with each other. पापा, फेसबुक क्या इसको बोलते हो स्काइपी ना क्या है पापा का पिक्चर देख दिया आई एम हैप्पी falsified happiness and the moment you meet your father physically and jump onto him and he is primarily having pleasure to see you after so many days that pleasure you cannot get through an image or a vision primarily visual so real का alternative नहीं है that we see in television screen or primarily in the screen of what telephone but that is what is modern come back to political science so postmodern theory tells there are so many people Chomsky is there understand not Noam Chomsky he tells power is a beautiful theory. First you tell me, you live in which society today? आज का सोसाइटी को क्या बोलते हो? Knowledge society. So knowledge is power. Power is not there with state. Power is not there with government. Power is not there with civil society. So knowledge is power. ठीक है? बोलो. What do you mean by this sentence? What is knowledge is power? Knowledge is power. क्या मतलब क्या है? अरे विद्वान बोल दो. What is knowledge is power? Why you go to Gangaram hospital or big hospitals? When we are falling sick, we go to good hospitals, big hospitals. Why? Because the doctor you meet, you find out that doctor is so highly qualified. You know, where he's writing the prescription, half the page of the prescription is talking about his qualification. MD from this place, then this, that. इतना बड़ा qualification होता है. औधा बीमारी तो ऐसे ठीक हो जाता है qualification देख के. I am in safe hand, I am in great hand. He's a man of great knowledge, so he can never go wrong. So half the problem is taken care of when we see his qualification. Then he tells, see, I have done the diagnosis. This is the medicine you have to take. And at the same time, you should not eat this, 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 and this. In an enslaved way, we simply accept to his advice. Doctor ने मना किया दूध नहीं पीना है. डॉक्टर ने मना किया नॉनवेज नहीं खाना है. डॉक्टर ने मना किया पान नहीं खाना है. चुप. One is surprised. I feel surprised. When I used to take pan, so many people tell me not to take pan. My children, my students, my friends, everybody tell pan is not good, don't take it. I hardly bothered about their wisdom. But Corona came, pan disappeared. Doctor told me, knowledge is power. So friends' knowledge I may not accept, children's knowledge I may not accept, students' knowledge I may not accept. When doctor tells, if you take pan, you are going to die, then I am going to accept his advice. Because in front of doctor, I am not a teacher. In front of doctor, I am a patient. So when patient knows that doctor has knowledge, he is accepting to his power. When student realize teacher has knowledge, they listen to teacher. कोई छोटको टीचर आके पहुंचेगा, तुम इसका हालत ऐसे करोगे. क्वेश्चन पूछ के exhibiting your so-called talent, वो परेशान कर दोगे. If a young teacher comes. But the moment we know that teacher has knowledge, चुपचाप बैठोगे, गालियां सुनोगे, आराम से लिखोगे बैठ के. You are not respecting to teacher, you are respecting to the knowledge of the teacher that you don't carry. Therefore, knowledge is power. Therefore, teacher controls over students, doctor controls over the patients, traffic police controls over the people, those who are driving the car. Therefore, power, like blood is flowing through every organ of the body, power is flowing through every organ of the society. स्कूल में पावर है, हॉस्पिटल में पावर है, ब्यूरोक्रेसी में पावर है. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? Everywhere you find out, power is flowing like blood is flowing through human body everywhere. ठीक है? And most important thing, how change takes place. We primarily carry knowledge. Democracy is good. Development is good. We carry this kind of knowledge. If you carry contesting knowledge, opposite knowledge, then you project that knowledge. At one point of time, they were saying development is good, industrialization is good, urbanization is good, growth is good, employment is good, everything is good. Now we are carrying the knowledge. Development has given rise to environmental crisis. Urbanization has given rise to primarily overpopulation, spread of disease. Then this group of people holding knowledge, we holding knowledge, are contesting with each other. Therefore, two groups of people carrying two different kinds of knowledge are engaged in conflict, and from out of that, change takes place. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? Therefore, contesting knowledge gives rise to change, and knowledge is a source of power. Political science इसको सुन के पागल हो रहा है, अरे यार क्या बात की है. So therefore, समरी बना देता हूं इसका सारे. पूरा सारे 10 पॉइंट बताता हूं, इसको ध्यान से सुनो. When sociology was not there in the air, political science was developing philosophies to think about social progress, social development, and social change. Therefore, sociology was inclusive in political science. And political science was considering that state and society are synonymous to each other. That you find out in the writings of Plato, in the writings of Machiavelli, in the writings of John Locke, in the writings of Rousseau. All of them consider that society and state are inclusive to each other. A better state means better society. Okay? One. Classical political science was concerned about three issues: developing political theories, study of political institutions, and study of political problems. Okay? However, after the arrival of sociology, sociology gave new direction to power study, politics study. What political science was missing out? Therefore, political science today is borrowing ideas from Marxian theory, Weberian theory, elite theory, pluralist theory, neo-Marxist theory, feminist theory, and postmodern theory to understand power and politics in different way. And meeting point between these two disciplines is political sociology. Okay? So therefore, sociology today is borrowing ideas from political science, concept from political science, and offering sociological explanation to it. देखो तुम्हारा सिलेबस में सारे लिखा हुआ है protest, movement, collective mobilization. We discuss that from a sociological perspective. Nation, state, citizenship, civil society, तुम्हारा चैप्टर में है political system में. We discuss that from sociological perspective. Therefore, concepts are political, but we are explaining them in a sociological way, and political science is accepting to it. As a result of which, a culture of interdisciplinarity has developed. Give your concept, I give new explanation to it. They say, give your theories, we need to use it. So sociology is borrowing concept from political science. And political science is developing approaches, theories, methods from sociology. Therefore, in today's context, political science and sociology are sharing a strong homogenetic relationship with each other. Then you can elaborate. ठीक है, ये content हो गया. Then you can elaborate. Marx tells, power cannot be studied in isolation to society and economy. Therefore, economy, society, and power, they constitute a triangle. One cannot study one primary sphere of social life in isolation to others. Weber brilliantly gives a definition to power, saying that power is present everywhere. It is a behavior, capacity of a person to exercise control over others. Therefore, power is present as an ability in one person. Therefore, when two students are arguing with each other, one is trying to exercise his authority over the other. What I am saying, that is correct. Others say, no, how can that be correct? And I can show you the proof. And ultimately, when your argument is accepted, you feel so happy. Because you have established your power, knowledge power over the other person. Therefore, when you are sitting in the discussion group, there is power. When you are sitting in the family, there is power. When you are fighting for primarily, what state power, there is power. Power is present everywhere. Therefore, since we cannot study all powers in detail, he talks about three important forms of legitimate authority: traditional, charismatic, and legal rational. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? When political science is talking about fundamental distinction between different kinds of state, sociology primarily tells they share visible difference but invisible similarities. Therefore, elite theory tells how elites are present both in democracy and socialism. Critical theory tells how both democracy and socialism, through culture here means what? Media, school, समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? Family, are colonizing to the minds of the people. When people refuse to accept to the dictates of the state, then state is giving them primarily what? Lurings in the form of employment, in the form of welfare benefits, and so on. If still people refuse to accept to the domination of the state, then police and army and legal court are used. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? And this theory of primarily this theory is criticized by whose theory? Pluralistic theory. They say it is not primarily ruling class ruling over the masses. It is everybody primarily putting primarily what? Pressure on the state. Therefore, power is primarily controlled by everybody. It is not state controlling over the citizens. And a revolution in the field of political science has taken place under the influence of feminism and postmodern theory. Therefore, political science today is coming close to sociology, borrowing theories, ideas, and methods from the discipline. Young sociology is primarily becoming the torch bearer to the ancient discipline called as sociology today. So holding hand with each other, we are celebrating interdisciplinarity, and that is the celebration of knowledge. Yes or no? ये करके लिखोगे. है समझ में? अभी थोड़ा साइकोलॉजी पढ़ाएंगे. सोशियोलॉजी एंड साइकोलॉजी. Sociology is a discipline that is concerned with the study of social structure. ये सारे तुम पढ़े हो, बोलते जाओ अभी. Social structure, आगे social process, social problems, social change. Understanding or not? So these are the subject matter of sociology. ठीक है? अभी तो तुम इतना विद्वान हो गए हो, तुम बैठ के आंख बंद करके लिख दोगे. तो सोशियोलॉजी, व्हाट इज सोशियोलॉजी? सो स्टडी ऑफ सोशल स्ट्रक्चर, स्टडी ऑफ सोशल प्रॉब्लम्स, स्टडी ऑफ सोशल बिहेवियर, स्टडी ऑफ सोशल इंस्टीट्यूशन. क्यों कोई भी चीज में सोशल लगा दिए, सोशियोलॉजी हो गया. सोशियोलॉजी टॉक्स अबाउट इट. ठीक है? एंड मोस्ट इंपोर्टेंटली, when sociology studies society, psychology studies individual mind. ठीक है? Your thinking, your perception, your mental abilities, your cognition, they are the subject matter of psychology. Therefore, psychology studies individual mind, and sociology studies social behavior, social institution, social structure, and social change. ठीक है? So therefore, subject matter of sociology is different from subject matter of psychology. ठीक है? And methodology also are different. साइकोलॉजी को तुम देखोगे, इनका बहुत सारे ब्रांच है. एक्सपेरिमेंटल साइकोलॉजी, क्लिनिकल साइकोलॉजी, बिहेवियरल साइकोलॉजी. Understanding not? ये इतना सारे साइकोलॉजी है, we don't have any talk with them. So behavioral psychology, experimental psychology, clinical psychology, वो क्या बात करते हैं हमें पता नहीं है. Therefore, psychology has different branches which do not have any correspondence with sociology. Psychology comes very close to medicine because psychology studies mind and medicine studies body. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? We study collective behavior, we study social institution, we study society. तो इसलिए psychology, technically speaking, is very very close to what? Medical science. ठीक है? But there is one branch of psychology, understanding not, and that brings sociology close to psychology. That branch of psychology is known as social psychology. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? तो सोशल साइकोलॉजी इज द ओनली ब्रांच ऑफ साइकोलॉजी दैट ब्रिंग्स देयर डिसिप्लिन क्लोज टू आवर डिसिप्लिन. ठीक है. They use scientific method. Understand not? And most of the sociologists, they use scientific method in a restrictive way, limited way. We cannot go for their scientific analysis. When a psychiatrist is primarily treating a patient, so many questions will be asking, go for mind mapping, this, that. On the basis of that, he'll be arriving at a conclusion. Neither we have expertise nor we have patience to go for it. So therefore, there's a huge difference between sociology and psychology. But only area or the meeting point between both the disciplines is social psychology. You know, when sociology originated as a discipline, okay, so early sociologists were of the opinion that sociology is absolutely different from psychology. Because psychology studies individual mind, sociology studies collective behavior, therefore sociology and psychology are poles apart. And this is brilliantly being spelled out by Emile Durkheim, one of the founding father of sociology. He tells sociology and psychology are poles apart. कौन? डॉर्कहाइम ने बोला. ठीक है. He tells that subject matter of sociology is social fact. ठीक है. And subject matter of psychology is कौन सा fact? Psychological fact. Subject matter of psychology is mental fact. Mental fact. Psychology studies mental phenomena. ठीक है. एंगर, फ्रस्ट्रेशन, डिप्रीविएशन, समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं, एरोगेंस, ये सारे जो है साइकोलॉजी स्टडी करता है. सोशियोलॉजी डील्स विद द स्टडी ऑफ सोशल फैक्ट. एक एग्जांपल देके आई एम मेकिंग डिस्टिंक्शन बिटवीन सोशल फैक्ट एंड साइकोलॉजिकल फैक्ट. हाँ भाई, इसका नाम लो. दिख नहीं रहा है. प्रियंका, तुम बताओ. परेशान होगी. बताओ. फादर फाइट्स विथ यू. लिखो यस और नो. अरे तुम्हें पूछ रहा हूं, लिख लो, लिख लो. लड़ाई करते हैं हम भाई? फादर लड़ाई करते हैं तुमसे? ठीक है, तो मैं बोल देता हूँ. yes. लड़ाई करते हैं? क्या बात कर रहे हो. सुनो. इफ वन डे फादर इज शाउटिंग एट यू, you are not studying, you are primarily, just spending my money, you are not focusing attention on your work. Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, Kaveri, all primarily flow from your eyes non-stop. ठीक है. So these tears are which tears? Astha, these tears are which tears? Tell me now. These are psychological tears or they are primarily sociological tears? पापा ने बोल दिया, मम्मी डेली बोलती है, डेली गालियां देती है, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. She is scolding you left, right every day, carrying a smile. Mommy, wait. Father is telling one day, my God, you are becoming uncontrollable. So this is primarily a psychological phenomena. How it will stop? Papa will come, pacify you, tell beta, I was not in a good mood, so please forget about it. चलो बाहर खा के आते हैं. कितना खुश. Psychological tears. But tell me, you are going to your friend's house and happily chatting with each other. All of a sudden, your friend got a call from her friend. Are you both are there? I am feeling lonely. Why don't you come here? So we will be sitting and primarily having nice time together. Then you decide, नहीं जानिए उधर बैठेंगे मजा करेंगे. And two of you are going to meet her, enjoying, playing, gossiping, understand not? Then primarily, talking to each other, laughing aloud, feeling so happy. All of a sudden, your friend's friend is getting a telephone call from her friend. My grandfather expired. I am feeling absolutely lonely. Please come. I need your support. Since three of you are there, she'll be telling, my friend is in a bad condition. Let us go and primarily console her and we'll be coming back. Three of you are going. When you are reaching that particular place, you find out everybody is crying. But you do not know that old man. Just see a photograph there. How should you act in that particular situation? How will you act in that particular situation? You will also taking your handkerchief, pretending as if you are crying, rub your eyes. Okay? If by mistake a drop of tear is coming out of your eyes, that will be which tear? Sociological tear. Because you are crying because you don't want to cry, or you want to cry. You are crying because the social condition wants you to cry. Where you are doing something because that condition or society wants you to do it, that is social fact. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? In a marriage party, everybody is dancing. You cannot stand like a statue there. People will drag you right and left, make you dance, laugh at your dance, but you have to dance. Yes or no? That is social fact. So collective way of doing things is social fact. Understanding or not? If you are doing something because you love to do it, that is psychological fact. Therefore, Durkheim makes a clear-cut demarcation between social fact and psychological fact. Individual thinking, individual perception, individual behavior, individual sentiment, psychological study. Collective behavior, collective consciousness, collective participation in ritual, they all are primarily social fact. Therefore, sociology and psychology will be separated from each other. आदित्य समझ में आ रहा है? So therefore, if you are sitting in the class, physical class I'm talking about, one student feels like dancing. Can he dance? No. क्यों? What others are going to think about me. Therefore, I am studying there, not that I want to study. मन कर रहा है यार, बहुत time हो गया, I have to go out. But you cannot go out because others are present there. They expect from you your presence in the class. Therefore, what we do, we are doing that because situation demands that from us. It's social fact. What we do because we want to do it, that is which fact? Psychological fact. Singing in the bathroom, which fact? Psychological fact. But a singer is giving primarily performance on the stage, social fact. Therefore, singing is not singing. One singing is psychological, other singing is social. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? Durkheim makes a brilliant primary distinction between the two. Therefore, he tells, suicide is also a social fact. Because man is not committing suicide, a person is not committing suicide because he wants to kill himself. Social conditions are so created, he has to die. So when a person is dying because of the circumstances, because of the social condition, suicide becomes a social fact. Brilliant analysis will be doing that. Okay? So early sociologists were making a distinction between psychology and sociology. ठीक है? इनको नहीं है क्या? अरे पूजा का क्या म्यूट करने के लिए क्या बताया देख लो जरा. See, Can we actually, Durkheim tells social fact is different from psychological fact. But tell me honestly, can we do sociology ignoring to human emotions, human concerns, human frustrations, their agonies, their sufferings? Suffering is a psychic experience. Frustration is a psychic experience. Can we do sociology ignoring to sufferings, plight, happiness of the people? No. Therefore, technically you can say psychology is psychology, sociology is sociology. Sociology must have to respect to understand emotions of the people. Therefore, sociology is different from psychology, no doubt in that. Because they are clinical sociology, psychology, experimental psychology, we have nothing to do with it. But human emotions, human sufferings, human happiness, human joy, sociology need to pay respect to. Without respecting to that, without understanding that, we cannot understand human behavior. We cannot understand a particular social situation. Therefore, sociology cannot ignore, cannot isolate moods and motivations of the people. So therefore, post-Durkheimian scholars are advocating that sociology may be different from psychology, but psychic state of man's mind is important for sociology to primarily study and analyze. So be careful about that. Sociology may be different from psychology, but psychological state of man's mind is important for sociology to study and analyze. ठीक है? कार्ल मार्क्स लिखता है, capitalism is an exploitative system. Capitalism is an exploitative system. क्यों? Why is capitalism exploitative? Capitalism is exploitative because what we are producing, a laborer is producing something. You are working in primarily Mercedes company, getting a wage of 30,000 rupees per month. But every morning after taking bath, a worker is hanging Mangal Sutra onto his neck in the name of the company. अरे कंपनी का आइडेंटिटी कार्ड का बात कर रहा हूं. Every morning after taking his bath, he is hanging the Mangal Sutra in the name of his company and telling the world, I am a part of Mercedes company. कितना तनख्वाह? 30,000. So once his wife is telling her, hey, you are working in such a big company, let me see what you are producing. With pride, with conviction, he is going to showroom. ये जो गाड़ी दिखा है ना, ब्लू कलर का, हमने बनाया. Now, can we drive this car since you have made it? He's entering into the showroom. Chowkidar is throwing him out and telling him, you cannot touch the car, it will be developing scratch. इसका दिल टुकड़ा टुकड़ा हो जाता है. He's thinking, life that I have given to the commodity is standing taller than me and telling me, touch me not. That car is a product of my labor. But I cannot touch it, I cannot drive it, I cannot primarily possess it. One feels alienated. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? तो alienation is a psychological experience. Be careful. When you become a civil servant and forget ultimately the contribution of your parents, they also feel alienated. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? Understanding or not? Because their sweat, their effort is primarily putting you here. But once you are getting into that position and forgetting, my father is a poor man, how can I say to the world, he is my father? His heart is primarily broken into pieces. He feels alienated. The women and men, those who are living in old age homes, their children are settled and primarily living happily in America. They are also feeling so lonely, so frustrated, so alienated, so disturbed. Understanding or not? Marx tells alienation is a product of capitalist mode of production. Because you cannot have any right over what you are producing. Understand? So many other things he talks about. I'm not getting into details of that. So therefore, alienation is a psychic experience. Every worker is suffering from it, for it. Because what he is producing, he cannot hold that product and tell, this is my product, I have got first right over it. Therefore, form of production, the kind of exchange that takes place in capitalism is making every worker alienated. So these alienated people are coming together, revolting against capitalism and destroying the system. Karl Marx tells, you all are alienated, your property is taken away from you, so come together, fight war against capitalists and destroy the system. Therefore, psychology is foundation to social action. Unless you feel alienated, you cannot come together. Unless you come together, you cannot go for revolution. Unless you go for revolution, change is not possible. Therefore, social change from capitalism to socialism is possible through collective behavior revolution. And revolution will never come unless you feel alienated. Therefore, alienation is a psychic primary experience. You are alienated, I am alienated, so therefore managers, workers all primarily unify together. Therefore, psychology is foundation to social behavior, giving rise to social change. You cannot make but complete separation between sociology and psychology. Yes, very good, very true. Psychology of a person is developed by the society in which he is born and socialized. Very true. See, one example I'm giving you. The kind of attachment Indians do have towards their parents, you would not be finding out same kind of attachment American children do have towards their parents. Therefore, your psychic affiliation is a product of your cultural upbringing, different from the culture of American society. Okay? So when Durkheim tells psychology is different from sociology, Marx comes and tells Durkheim, "Chup, sociology is not possible without what? Psychology. Therefore, they're close to each other." Okay? I'm taking one step ahead. There is a gentleman called as Max Weber. अभी नाम सुने हो? बताया था, फाउंडर ऑफ पॉलिटिकल सोशियोलॉजी. ये बोलते हैं subject matter of sociology is social action. ठीक है? Subject matter of sociology is social action. ठीक है? And social action is driven by meanings and motives. ठीक है? Because देखो ये जो स्कूल क्लास है, that's a product of your action and my action. ठीक है? Family is a product of the action of father, action of mother, action of brother, action of sister. Any structure you see, the raw materials on which structure is developed is action. Actions are the bricks, structure is the wall. Action is the behavior, structure is family, structure is school, structure is temple. Every structure you see in society are the products of action. Your action, my action, others' action. Therefore, sociologists should study action to understand structure. ठीक है? अब you all are manifesting action. आयुष बैठ के अपना सिर पे हाथ दे रहा है, क्या हो गया? ठीक है? बलराम बैठ के आधा शकल दिखा के बैठा है, waiting for class to continue. So you are acting in a different way. Some are smiling, others are looking very serious, others are primarily enjoying, some are writing, and some of them 1/4 face you are showing because many others are sitting there. I should not see them. बहुत सारी चीज है. ठीक है? So tell me, your action is driven by what? Action is driven by what? Motives, meanings, mood. अरे यार अभी मूड नहीं है, बहुत पढ़ लिया, 2 घंटा हो गया, तो इसलिए एक्शन इज अ रिलैक्सिंग मोड. ठीक है. In the middle of the class, you have the liberty now. You can go out, drink water, come back, then again sit, change your postures. Your actions are different because moods are different. Motives are different. Surrounding is different. घर में बैठ के क्लास करो, ऑनलाइन चल रहा है, मम्मी बुला रही है, अरे बेटा टेलीफोन छोड़ दिया तुम्हारा, कोई कॉल आ रहा है, हैंड इधर काम इधर. Half of your mind in the class, half of your mind is connected to what mother is telling. Situation becomes different. Therefore, your involvement with the class becomes different. Therefore, action is driven by motives. Motive समझ में आ रहा है? Motive, I must have to clear civil service so that I can stand on my own foot. I can work for society in a big way. दूसरा का motive है, I must get into civil service because my neighbor has told me, पुलिस में हविलदार है, कांस्टेबल है, तो he was threatening me, कल IPS बनूंगा, इसको दिखाऊंगा. So therefore motives are different. Deprivation motivates you to get into civil service. Pride motivates you to get into civil service. Urgency motivates you to get into civil service. Frustration motivates you to get into civil service. Microsoft में काम कर करके I was so frustrated. Man is dealing with machines. Then one day I said, enough is enough. I left my job, came to primarily preparation for my civil service. Therefore, motives are different. Moods are different. Action may or may not be different. Therefore, unless I study the moods of the people, unless I study the motives of the people, I cannot study action. Without studying action, I cannot study structure. Therefore, mood is psychological. Motive is psychological. Therefore, your psychology guides your social behavior. Therefore, I cannot do sociology without psychology. ठीक है, कल इसको और आगे पढ़ाएंगे. चलो जाओ छुट्टी. थिंकर्स कुछ पढ़ना नहीं है, थिंकर्स में पढ़ाऊंगा, बस नाम याद करना. एंड रिविजिट दिस थिंग्स व्हेन आई एम कमिंग बैक ऑफ फिनिशिंग थिंकर्स. पूरा सर क्रिस्टली क्लियर हो जाएगा दिमाग में. ठीक है, चलो.